The new man opened the gatehouse door. He was tall, maybe 6 feet 5 inches, big too, maybe 260. Not an ounce of visible fat anywhere. His hands were as big as baseball mitts. He was dressed in a black t-shirt and black wool blazer that stretched taut across his hulking body. Black jeans rode low on his hips. The work boots on his feet were immense, yet seemed too small to support the rest of him. The gateman nodded and said nothing. He stood aside, and the diplomat, not a small man himself, felt dwarfed when he stepped across the threshold into a room that was marginally warmer than the outdoors, even though the house featured an adequate heating system. Perhaps the new guy's body mass generated more heat than normal. The diplomat scanned the main living area's open floor plan. Small kitchen, table with 4 chairs, a fireplace surrounded by a sofa, 2 recliners, and a television. No one else was present. "What's your name again?" "John Smith." He didn't smile. The diplomat shrugged. He could call himself Genghis Khan as long as he did the job as required. "Where is she?" "This way." Smith moved toward the back of the 1-story gatehouse toward the bedrooms. The diplomat followed. The last renovation here had tripled the gatehouse's size and added a private bath to each of the 8 new bedrooms. Guests often preferred to entertain out here, away from the prying eyes and ears from the main house, particularly if their desires were somewhat unsavory. Tonight, the diplomat was not entertaining guests. The extra bedrooms were empty. At the end of the corridor was a doorway that led to a mudroom, and beyond into an attached garage. Smith opened the door and stepped through, and the diplomat followed. The diplomat shivered. He instinctively raised a gloved hand to cover his nose and filter the overwhelming stench of car exhaust. One vehicle was idling here. A 10-year-old sedan stolen from a shopping mall parking lot 100 miles away. The sedan had spent its entire life driving snowy winter roads, wallowing in rock salt, and the rusted exhaust system had never been replaced. It vibrated loudly as if it might fall off its hangers. The gases made a chuffing noise as they passed from the engine and escaped before they reached the rear of the car. The diplomat nodded, and Smith pushed a button, and the double garage door rolled itself up along an overhead track. The open maw displayed the low cloud ceiling and the roiling Atlantic Ocean beyond like a giant theater screen, to majestic and chilling effect. Harsh wind blew into the garage, and the ocean's roar collided with the running engine to combined ear-pounding decibel levels. Smith pushed another button, and ceiling fans whipped through the heavy air inside the garage at high speed. But the air was so thick, it would take a while to clear it. The setup was purposefully clumsy, like a distraught woman bent on suicide had staged the scene herself. A flexible hose connected the tailpipe to the rear passenger window, which was open only wide enough to receive the hose. The interior of the car was obscured by smoky silver air, as if the scene were a magician's trick. The gas tank had been full when Smith started the engine, but it had to be almost empty now. The diplomat estimated 24 hours runtime on a full tank. More than enough to do the job. Smith opened the driver's door, reached in, and turned the engine off. The diplomat held his breath and pulled a linen handkerchief from his pocket. He covered his mouth and nose to filter the air. He walked closer to the sedan and peered through the window into the back seat. She looked waifish lying there, stretched out on her back as if she were enjoying the sleep of the just. In life, she'd looked angelic. Almost. Tall, lean, pale skin, and blonde hair. She had been the perfect type for his needs.